Alright, so we're going to start talking about pointers, finally. I have to sort of preface this with that pointers are tricky inherently just by their nature. Um, so as we start getting into this and as we start moving ahead and doing some of the more complicated things with Cheat Engine and just talking about pointers and things, more complicated programming concepts or computing concepts in general, um, it helps, or maybe that's the wrong word, but it's extremely important that everything we've talked about up until now is something that you're just comfortable with. If you're not, then you're gonna find yourself struggling to grasp certain things. You're gonna end up, either not understanding what we're talking about, or you're gonna end up pausing the video, going back, looking stuff up, and it's gonna be tricky, just by just because of that. So I've been trying to think about the right way to sort of introduce pointers, and we've done a lot of stuff with values. And in the previous video, we failed miserably to find the value that we were looking for, um, and that's fine. I ended up messing around. After I turned the video off, I started messing around with it. I was able to find it, but in order to find it, I ended up using some features of Cheat Engine that we haven't used yet. So if I was to jump in there and do it right now, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. But it's something we will go back and find it using some assembler script and stuff like that. But again, that's for another video. So we go to Wikipedia, the jumping off point for any good technical exploration. Go to pointer computer programming, and I'm sure the article is huge. So let's read what Donald Knuth had to say here. I do consider assignment statements and pointer variables to be among computer science's most valuable treasures. That is probably not an understatement, and you can click on Donald Knuth here. You can see his picture. You can read all about him, and you should listen to what he has to say. He's a pretty smart guy. So how are we gonna, what's a pointer? Basically, well, doing some fancy video tricks here. We're gonna open up our notepad again. We'll minimize this. And so what we've been finding up to now is just values. So different memory locations. We'll just, I don't know, is it 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4? We'll just make up something. This is some location in memory. The value of that memory location is something. So for now, we'll just say it's 2. So if we were to generalize that a little bit, we could say that every memory location equals some value. Or I suppose we could take that a little further and just say that memory locations have a value, and that value is unspecified. Doesn't matter what what the value is. It could be any type, anything we want. And what we've been doing up to now with Cheat Engine is we've been scanning memory locations for a specific value that we're entering into this box up here, the value box. What we're going to start getting into is finding some pattern about the memory location itself so that we don't have to filter down based on the value. So instead of searching for the value on the right side here, we're going to start looking for a way to determine what's on the left side here without having to filter down based on the value. So whenever we start up a game, the values that have meaning to us, such as a player's karma or the health or something like that, it's dynamically put into a memory location. But there are ways, which we're going to start getting into, to find that memory location without, but we can. I'm not going to say algorithmically, but basically there's some algorithms. I'm not going to say algorithmically, and then I just said algorithm. So let's start again. There are general ways to find that memory location, certain rules and offsets specifically that we can use. So say the process name is Shadowrun.exe. So there are ways that we can say, well, Shadowrun.exe, that's basically as a name, according to Cheat Engine, we will say this is basically whenever you put this into a memory location, that's just the start of memory. So let's see if we can make this more concrete. We talked to, this is a little review. We've talked about this before. Doesn't matter that we're not in game. We just want to be able to attach to a process. We actually just started a second copy. We already have one open. So we will attach it to the game. And as we talked about before, this is basically telling Cheat Engine, hey, search all the memory associated with this process. So Shadowrun.exe is basically just, that is memory location 0. It is like where the beginning of the memory. And then what we can do is we can establish and find offsets that'll point us every time we start the game, offsets that will point us to a memory location that will have the value that we're looking for, such as the karma. So something that we're just making this up, but we could say, Shadowrun.exe plus some hex pattern or value, some bit value, and to be pedantic about it, but we'll just say, C0, plus some other offset, like, I don't know, FF plus 2, D3 plus more stuff, plus more stuff, plus more stuff. We don't have to find all these individual offsets. Cheat Engine takes care of a lot of that for us. But basically, we'll wind up with a string of offsets like that, and that will equal the player's karma every time we start the game. So we will never have to go back and find the actual value for the karma. We just tell Cheat Engine, hey, here's the offsets that I want you to apply or index into the memory associated with this process, and then I want you to give me a pointer to that location, and that pointer will be down here. Like when you download a table and you see all the stuff down here, those are pointers to the value of the player's karma. So as an example, we could go over here and do add address manually. We could type in some absolute address. You can see we're typing in random numbers. It's Cheat Engine is, there is no memory address like that. That one actually does seem to exist though, and there's a value of 0. Who knows what it is? It's that one's 114. I don't know, 89, 5. Oh, that some crazy value there. So you can see that Cheat Engine is automatically, we're typing in values, it's looking at we're typing in memory locations, addresses, if you will. It's pulling out values, it's returning those to us, and we have no idea what they mean. So if we start messing around with that, we're going to be in trouble. But when you click the pointer box, it'll open this up, and we can start typing in just random pointers. It's not going to do us any good, but you could set offsets here. You could add another offset. Let's see if we can come up with something here. There we go. See, we probably don't even need the quotes. Nope, we don't. So we just type in Shadowrun.exe. Cheat Engine says, yep, got the process. I'll start there, and then we can start putting in offsets of whatever we want. You could have as many offsets as you desire. So you can make this one 18, that one 4, C, whatever, that one 28. We'll do this. You can see we had values in there, but now we're getting into crazy territory where there's nothing. Let's remove a couple offsets, see if we can get back to something. There we go. We got an address. Can we get a value out of it? Probably not. What about that? You can see the values changing. Or the address is changing, rather. There we go. We got something. Let's see if we can screw around a little bit more. Maybe get a value up here is what we're trying to do. But, I mean, what we're doing right now is extremely, is probably possibly way outside the range. There we go. So you got to be careful. Obviously, like I said, we're just flying by the seat of our pants, putting in random values. No regard what any of this stuff means. But again, as per our example down here, let's check the time real quick. What do we got? All right, 10 minutes. Not bad. You can see what we're doing down here. Like we talked about, we'll do that. So we have Shadowrun.exe. That's the start of this process's memory block. At least that's what Cheat Engine is saying. Under the hood, this is kind of an alias, if you will, for some absolute address in the computer memory. So if there's we're going to use the open and close bracket just to sort of group some stuff together. Let's just say that this is the entire RAM of the computer, and then somewhere in this in all the RAM, there's an address that is the start of the memory associated with this process, and that's what Shadowrun.exe is. A cheat engine is basically saying, or what we are saying to cheat engine when we type in the name is, okay, I want to start at the first valid memory address associated with this process. And then what we're saying is, here's 44. All right, well, that's an offset. So I want to start at the beginning of the memory region, going to index into it by 44, whatever that is in hex. Then we're going to index on top of that into 9C. And then we're going to index on top of that by 70, whatever that is as a bit value. Just click OK. You can see it adds it to the address list. There is, in fact, a value. We have just the generic 4-byte type. You could change this, whatever. We don't know what this is. This is not even necessarily, a value that's represented in the game. This could just be, as we talked about, it's just a bit pattern. We have no idea what it is. You can see here, P pointer to this memory address. You double click on it, it brings this back up. We can keep screwing around with values. We'll leave it at 1. I like that. So let's demonstrate what I mean. So we're at some completely random location. We are going to change this value. See what happens in the game. See if we're going to try and crash the game. Here's what we're going to do. Let's go back a little bit. That seems nice. That's probably something ridiculous. Just going to make it 0. Oh, well. Anyway, game doesn't seem to want to crash, but that's sort of the intro to pointers, and we'll expand on this in a little bit.